Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on Thursday, just 2 days away now from Arsenal's Premier League game at Leicester. Arsenal looking to make it 9 games unbeaten in all competitions following Tuesday night's win against Leeds in the Carabao Cup. Comfortable night's work in the end that was for Arsenal at the Emirates on Tuesday. As I said in my ratings video afterwards, we now know who is going to be in the draw for the quarterfinals, which takes place on Saturday. I think it's live on Soccer AM. I'll probably be halfway up to Leicester by the time that draw comes out, so it'll be interesting to hear on the radio who Arsenal get. Lots of good teams left in it. No Manchester City, though, the team that have won it, I think, each of the last 4 seasons, hasn't it been? Man City have won this competition. They went out yesterday to West Ham, who were having a fantastic season, winning on penalties. So yeah, there's going to be a new name on the Carabao Cup this year. Will it be Arsenal? They haven't won this competition since since way back in '93, isn't it? The Sheffield Wednesday game. Obviously lost to Birmingham, lost to Chelsea at Cardiff. So not had much luck in this competition in recent years, but they got themselves a chance now. They're only 2 rounds away from the final. Could well be getting Tottenham, you never know, in the quarterfinals. Liverpool in there, West Ham in there, Brentford in there. Sunderland, I think, are probably the team that everyone wants to get, certainly at home. That would be quite a nice draw, but plenty of good teams in there. So we'll find out on Saturday who Arsenal get before that game against Leicester. Wanted to talk about that match against Leicester in today's video. Look at really who's going to start that game. I think it's going to be really intriguing team selection. A lot's going to depend obviously on the team news and the fitness issues, because Arsenal do have a fair few issues surrounding quite a few players at the moment when it comes to fitness for that Leicester game. And which could happen, that most of them are fit, which fingers crossed will happen, then it's going to be really intriguing in terms of who starts. I mean, I'll just run through the team news as we know it at the moment. I mean, there are doubts over quite a few players. There's certainly doubts over Ben White, who went off in the second half against Leeds because of illness. Pablo Mari, obviously, he was ill as well. Rob Holding limped off. We're not exactly too sure on the extent of that. We think it's cramp, but not too sure, so he could be available. Granit Xhaka, we know, is not available. Then the 2 interesting ones are going to be Martin Odegaard and Kieran Tierney. They're both struggling with injuries, not illness at the moment. And they tried to train on Monday to sort of prove they were fit to play against Leeds. They decided that they weren't ready to play Leeds, but they were hopeful of making it for the weekend. So those 2 could be available. And if they are, which we'll probably find out tomorrow, I'd imagine we'll get a team news update from Arsenal. And we're speaking to Mikel Arteta in the morning, 10:30, that press conference of Arteta tomorrow. So we'll learn more exactly about the fitness of those 2 players then. If those 2 are available in terms of Odegaard and Tierney, it's going to be really interesting in terms of who starts. Do you put Tierney straight back in the starting lineup, or do you keep Nuno Tavares after that really impressive performance he put in last week against Aston Villa? Do you bring Martin Odegaard back into the starting lineup, or do you leave him on the bench as you did against Aston Villa and stick with that 4-4-2? It's going to be really intriguing. Personally, for me, I think at the moment you probably stick with the same team that played Villa. Arsenal played so well against Villa that you almost feel that team warrants another start if everyone is available. You do have to wonder about the formation slightly. You know, will Leicester enjoy quite a bit of possession in midfield if Arsenal are just in there as a 2 with Sambi and Granit Xhaka? But even if they go 4-2-3-1, it's still going to be the same if you put Odegaard back as a number 10 and let him drop back a little bit deeper to help out with the 2. So personally for me, I'd be going with the same starting 11. I think Nuno Tavares deserves to keep his place. I don't think long term he's going to keep Kieran Tierney out, but I think when you play as well as he did on Friday night, I think it would be harsh if you drop him, and especially if there are any sort of slight injury doubts over Kieran Tierney, I'd be keeping Tavares in for another game and then perhaps bring Tierney in for the following game against Watford. So, I mean, let me know who should start this one. For me, I think it should be Ramsdale in goal. I'll go with the back 4 that we all know if they're all fit. So, Tomiyasu, White, Gabriel and Nuno Tavares. I'll have Thomas Partey and Sambi as a midfield 2. Then I'll be sticking with the sort of 4-4-2 formation. So I'd have Saka and Smith Rowe out wide, and then Lacazette and Aubameyang up top. Laka dropping a little bit deeper, almost as the number 10 at times, like he did against Aston Villa. I think those 2 need to start again because they were so good against Villa. Laka clearly in very decent form at the moment. He's bang on it. I thought he was impressive when he came off the bench against Leeds on Tuesday night as well. Showed that work ethic that we saw, that work rate. Almost got himself a goal because of it with that one he put over after winning the ball back. And I think Laka's just bang on it at the moment. So I think you've got to start him and go go as strong as you possibly can and keep that momentum that you got from the Villa game. I mean, momentum's such a big thing for Arsenal right now, and they have it. When you have it, you don't want to let it slip. And that's why I think you carry on in the same sort of vein of form that you've shown so far. So please do let me know who should start for you against Leicester on Saturday, if everyone's fit. Obviously, we know that there's doubts, as I said, about quite a few players, and they might be forced into a few. Arteta might be forced into a few difficult decisions because of that. But if everyone is fit, who do you want to see start? What formation should Arsenal play? Let me know in the comments below. In terms of some team news for Leicester, if you haven't seen it, Jamie Vardy limped off in their game against Brentford last week, which they won 2-1. I've seen lots of Arsenal fans hoping he was going to be out, because we all know Jamie Vardy against Arsenal tends to mean goals for Jamie Vardy, because he's got a fantastic record against Arsenal. But judging by what Brendan Rodgers said yesterday after Leicester's win against Brighton, wasn't it, in the Cup, they won on a penalty shootout to get through to the quarterfinals, he said Jamie is fine. He trained this morning, which was Wednesday, and he joined back in the group. All the guys are fine. So the team news nice for Leicester is that they are looking very strong against ahead of the Arsenal game. And it's a big game for Leicester as well. They've had a good little run of form at Leicester, because it's been a difficult start to the season for them, but then they had a fantastic win against Manchester United, had a very good win, slightly fortunate win against Brentford last weekend, because Brentford played very well in that game and could easily have got something, probably should have got something from that one, but Leicester stuck to it and got the win. And they've now gone through to the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup as well, with that penalty shootout win against Brighton last night. So Leicester in a decent run of form as well. They're beginning to pick up some momentum after what's been a difficult start to the season. So it's a big game for both sides, this. I think for Arsenal, it's really important to put in a decent away performance. We've seen the good performances at home in recent weeks. The Tottenham game, the Villa game. Yes, there was that blip against Crystal Palace when Arsenal were really poor. But at Emirates, we've seen some really positive, promising, encouraging performance. Away, not so much. I mean, they dug in and got that win against Burnley, which was good, but you didn't see that sort of expansive football, that high-pressing football, high-tempo football that we've seen at home. At Brighton, they were poor. They were lucky to get away with a point in that game. So it'd be nice to see them go away and, put in a bit of performance, get a result, but also put in a bit of performance to show that they can go on the road, take the game to home teams, and come away with 3 points. They were very good at Leicester last season. It was arguably their best away performance of the season. Remember, Nicolas Pepe, absolutely fantastic that day when Arsenal won 3-1. Willian played really well as well. I think Willian got man of the match. So it all sort of clicked in that game away from home towards the end of last season at Leicester. Behind closed doors, though, so you've got to sort of take that with a little bit of a pinch of salt. All those away games last season don't really count for me. It's all about doing it in front of fans and the intensity that brings. And Arsenal haven't really done that yet this season, so I'd love them to go to I've forgotten their stadium. What's their stadium name? Totally forgotten. Something to the King Power Stadium, and put in a decent performance on Saturday lunchtime. Get the weekend off to a good start as well. So yeah, let me know who starts, who should play, who shouldn't play, who should be left out of the team. Let me know. Comments. Have a go, and I will go through them. Following Balogun, interesting comments from Mikel Arteta, I thought, after the game on Tuesday night. Balogun on the bench, didn't come on against Leeds. Not really had much of a look in the season. Obviously started the first game of the season away at Brentford because of everything that went on in terms of COVID with Lacazette and Aubameyang. Came on against Chelsea, I think, in the next game. Did come on against Wimbledon in the Carabao Cup. But other than that, he's not really had a look in this season. After signing that contract, many hope that he might have a decent shout at some minutes this season. It hasn't quite happened. Eddie Nketiah still ahead of him, despite Eddie, seemingly being out the door, or halfway out the door, having not signed a new contract and being out of contract in the summer. Fair play to Eddie, though. I think he's playing really well. I think he played really well against Wimbledon, scored the goal. I thought he played well again on Tuesday night, scored the goal. And I can see both sides of the argument. It's like, why do you play Nketiah if he's going? Why don't you play Balogun? But then I also see the side of the argument of, well, Balogun did have a couple of opportunities earlier on in the season, didn't really take them, looked a little bit off the pace. So do you really play someone that you might feel isn't quite ready to play yet, and risk going out the competition? So I can kind of see the argument from both. But Mikel Arteta was asked about Balogun after the game against Leeds, and he said, we will see what happens, because he was asked, will he go out? Could he possibly go out on loan in January? So we will see what happens. Again, with Flo, we have a really clear project. the steps that he's making, they are the right steps. Don't forget he's really young. He hasn't played almost any professional football, and you need to go through every phase and don't try to jump phases when you are not ready to do so. Again, I'm really happy with him. He's making the right progress, and in December we will see where we are and what's best for him as well. So I think that those last few words there, saying in December we will see where we are. He's clearly not ruling out the possibility of a loan move. He did that when asked about Martinelli going out on loan. He kind of said, no, it's not something I'm thinking about. But he didn't say it here with Balogun. I think that seems to suggest that there is a good chance that Balogun will be going out on loan, or certainly will be given the opportunity to go out on loan in January. Personally, for me, I think it's absolutely going to be a good thing if that were to happen. The only slight issue with it is obviously African Cup of Nations coming out. Aubameyang's going, Pepe's going. But I still think Arsenal have enough to cover, even with those two heading out, those two forwards sort of heading out the door potentially for up to 4 or 5 weeks, whatever it is. I think with Balogun, he just needs to be playing. He's too good for under 23s at the moment, but I'm not sure he's quite ready, certainly for the Premier League at the moment. So it'd be good to send him out, have sort of 4 months away in January to the end of the season, possibly at a championship side, maybe abroad. Someone in the Bundesliga might want him. I know there were clubs interested from abroad when it looked like he could be available on a free transfer. But just go out and get some game time. I said in the summer I thought it would be a good option if he wasn't going to play too much, that it would be a good option to send him out for the whole season. I think I've seen nothing to suggest that I was wrong in that opinion since the start of the season, because what's the point of him just sitting around not getting many minutes, playing under 23s football, which we know he can do well. It's not really helping his development, so he may as well go out and have a really good loan spell and get some goals and get some regular game time in senior football and really begin to learn to understand what it's about. As I said previously, I wouldn't be too against even Martinelli doing it. I know AFCON does make a little bit more of an issue with that, because you would think Martinelli will be pretty much first choice to come in. It'd be right up there anyway to replace someone when Aubameyang and Pepe are out the door. So it's a little bit more difficult when it comes to Martinelli. But with Balogun, I just think you've got an opportunity to get him out on loan and really let him see what he can do in senior football, because I'm not sure what we've seen from him yet suggests that he's ready to really make an impact in the Premier League. And if that's the case, then you may as well get him out, getting some minutes in the Championship and seeing what he can do. It's been really beneficial for some players. Arsenal using the loan system more and more now, and it's been beneficial to some of them, and it's really sort of kicked their career into overdrive, really. Certainly saw it with Emi Martinez when he went to Red and had that fantastic loan spell, and his career's just gone like that ever since. And Balogun, I just think he's ready to go out and play some minutes now. So if that is the case and he does go out in January, I think it'd be a good decision for Arsenal and for him as well. All right, that's about it. Everyone, thank you very much for watching. Appreciate your time as always. Like I said, we will be speaking to Mikel tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. I believe that press conference is. So keep your eyes peeled for that on social media. I'll try and do a video if I can afterwards, sort of dissecting a little bit what Mikel had to say on that. And I will be heading up to Leicester on Saturday for the game. Hopefully, fingers crossed, good way to start the weekend as well on Saturday lunchtime. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a very good Thursday. I'll speak to you soon.